Welcome back to another quick review. I just got out of the movie theater from seeing the final episode of Stranger Things 5, or just final episode of Stranger Things as a whole, and damn if I'm going to let Twitter and TikTok uh, influence my opinion on a TV show. So I'm making this now before I see the absolute hellscape that is those websites. When this goes up, this will probably be the final video of, or at least the first video of 2026, so Happy New Year, everybody. Anyways, let's talk about Stranger Things 5. I am satisfied with the ending. I'm very happy. Um, and kind of before we get to that, I want to kind of talk about my experience with Stranger Things. Um, I've been watching this show since season 1 or 2. I can't exactly pinpoint. I can't remember. If it's season 1, I've been watching the show for 9 years. If it's season 2, I've been watching the show for 8 years. I'm 19 now, so just kind of put that into perspective. This show has kind of been there for me during some very not fun moments in my life, some highs and some lows. Ultimately, regardless of if the ending was good or bad, if the final season was good or bad, I was always going to enjoy myself. This is a show that means a lot to me. Um, it means a lot to me as a person, who I am, how I grew up, and it's kind of been there for at least half my life at this point, or close to it. It's been there for most of my life. Um, so yeah, I wanted to start with that specifically. With that being said, I think season 5 is really good. I think if we're going like based off of rankings, how I would rank the seasons of Stranger Things, I think this falls directly in the middle, with season 3 and 2 being under it and season 1 and 4 being above it. I don't think it's the greatest thing in the world, but I still think it is really really good. Um, I kind of came across a video earlier today that kind of points out some of the issues with this season, and that is the fact that there really is no branching storylines. Every season thus far has had 2 or 3 storylines where everybody's doing their own thing and everybody comes together at the end to solve one big issue. And that's not really the thing of this season. I think that kind of is a negative in a sense. I think things aren't they don't feel as traditional, and things aren't as, I guess the word to, I hate saying this because I kind of disagree. Um, we kind of had to focus because all these characters are in one storyline. There are some things that are some ideas that work better than others. I was going to say not as well written, and that's an entire different thing. Some ideas work better than others. There's certain like during Volume 1, the 11 and Hopper storyline didn't do all too much for me. Um, Volume 2, I'm one of the very few people on the internet apparently that really enjoyed Volume 2. I'm going to be completely honest. Um, I, faults aside, there's certain things that don't work for me and certain things that do work for me, and that's fine. Not everything's perfect. I don't pretend that everything is perfect except Final Fantasy VI. That game is literally perfect. But otherwise, not everything is perfect. I think one of the positives for me was seeing the show end. I an ending that I'm satisfied with. I enjoyed most of the episodes. I'm not going to defend every episode. I think episode 7 is weird. It's a weird episode, all things considered. Do I think it's as weird as IMDb or the internet will tell you? No, I don't. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's a bad episode at all. I think things make sense. I think they'll tell you that media literacy is dead, and then media literacy isn't dead, and then you go online and see a lot of the takes about this show and a lot of other stuff in general, and it'll just make you change your mind. Um, One of the things that I was kind of expecting, and I'm actually kind of happy um, with, considering the finale at least, was character deaths. Um, Ultimately, I'm kind of sick and tired of the notion that in order for a show to have stakes, or any story for that matter to have stakes, or in order for them to be emotional, a character has to die, or multiple characters have to die. You know, I'm because that's just not the case. There, like, if we're talking about emotion specifically, there are a variety of romance shows, or even things outside of romance, whether it be sci-fi, fantasy. There are a variety of things in which characters don't die that are still emotional. Um, I think a good example is actually in regards to romance, the romance aspect of Past Lives. Past Lives is a movie that made me cry. Then on the opposite end, for stakes, there's some um, video games that I've played that I absolutely adored. Spoilers for Trails, by the way. There's not a singular character in Trails that dies that isn't a villain. So there's not a singular character in Trails that isn't a villain or isn't important or isn't dead for the sake of somebody's backstory that stays dead. Nobody really stays dead in Trails unless you're a villain or unless you're important to somebody's backstory or your death is important to somebody's backstory, and that still makes me cry. Now, there Trails has made me cry on 3 separate occasions. I love that franchise. I really do. I think it's amazing. So I'm actually okay with not every character dying. I'm okay with, you know, the open endedness of Eleven's ending. I'm okay with that. I have no issue with that. I like seeing the characters get a happy ending or a bittersweet ending, ending in which they all have to move on, deal with their trauma. In a sense, I love seeing Mike become a writer. That just kind of, I'm sorry, that resonated with me a lot. I love writing. I'm sorry. I'll get a chance if I get a chance to mention me being a writer. I'll take it. I'm sorry. I really like this stuff. Overall, Stranger Things 5. Um, there's a variety of things I want to say, but it's late, and this is supposed to be a quick review. Um, Overall, I really enjoyed it. I'm really glad. I'm really happy with where the characters went. Some more than others. I'm really happy that we addressed the entire Mind Flayer situation. I was like, we kind of got to the final episode. I was like, I hope they address this because there's a Mind Flayer sized elephant in the room of like, what are we doing about this thing? Because I feel like we just kind of tossed them aside for Vecna, and that's just not true. And I'm glad they addressed it. I'm really happy with all the performances. I'm really happy with um, everything. I did cry, I said, because this show means a lot to me, just as a person. Um, Needle drops were all great, and yeah, contrary to what Twitter or TikTok or whatnot would tell you, I think that Stranger Things went out on a bang. I think it is a satisfying conclusion to a 9 year long story, and I personally would not have it any other way. So yeah, thank you for watching. This is first quick review of 2026, and it's one that I really enjoyed. It is 11:59 right now. It's about to turn 12 a.m. in like 20 seconds. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you for watching. See ya.